Hello YouTube friends, Dr. Teresa Yulrich here again. Thanks so much for continuing with us on our journey through Africa. Well, after visiting Victoria Falls, we started to head out to a village to visit an authentic African family. These are some of the structures we passed on the way to the village. Here's a set of apartment buildings, some people on the side of the road. Here's a school, and you can see the children wearing their uniforms as they get ready to enter the building. Here's another young woman also wearing her uniform as she's preparing to enter school. And here are some examples of the different structures and properties that we saw as we went out into more of the rural areas. So you can see each of these homes varied quite a bit as they were individually built. We finally stopped at one property, and our guide approached a young woman and asked if she would be willing to let us visit her property and learn about Africa and her family. And surprisingly, she willingly let us in. So because this property also was partly a farm, we do see a chicken here, as well as some other birds that just come and go as they please. And just like a farm in the United States, we see a hen here with her chicks. This is the kitchen area. Look closely, there's a bird sitting there on top of the wall of the kitchen, another angle of it. And here's the pantry where the dishes are stored. And then here's a meeting room, and this is the young woman who took us around her property. You'll notice that there's a drum in the back and some pelts on the ground. This drum is still used to communicate between family members as well as neighbors. And she was kind enough to demonstrate for us a little bit on the drum of what kind of sounds that might be played. Here's another view of the meeting room, and probably that hole there is to be able to allow an indoor fire. Notice how many of the buildings are round. According to the young woman, snakes like corners, and when we have lots of round buildings, snakes tend to avoid those. Here we can see that the ground is basically like a sand or loose dirt. This is an example. I don't know if it has a practical use, but it is sort of like a cultural or a heritage monument because tribes that used to live near the river would build their homes up on stilts so that they could withstand floods. Here's the laundromat area. So this is where clothes would get washed, and there's a close-up view. And here is the young woman's nephew playing on the ground. Notice he doesn't seem at all bothered that we're there. Here's another view of the structure and the young woman getting ready to open the door to show us inside. And here is one of the bedrooms. Here is one of their guard dogs. This was sort of a joke because the dog slept the entire time that we were there, so apparently he wasn't worried about us. Here's their iron that they would fill with hot coals or wood chips and iron their clothes with this metal iron. Here are some other drums that are kept outside, and they definitely look aged and well used. And this is the shower area. Very simple life indeed. Here is the other part of the laundromat where clothes are drying. And this is part of the farm area where the animals are kept. Here's the hen house. To the left is our guide. But look at how the hen house is just made of whatever materials are on hand. Very simple but effective. another view of the hen house. And here is the young woman's brother. He's rebuilding one part of the fence for the farm. And this looks like some sort of cage. I don't know that any animals were in there. Oh, in this area, this is the workout center. So notice the homemade barbell with old coffee cans with cement in them and wheels or tires. Now I have a picture of this because there is a tree sitting right in front of the doorway. Here's another bedroom. But according to the young woman who took us around on our property, those trees in front of doorways bring good luck. So wherever they can, they do keep trees by the doorways. This is another view of the farm. And while we were there, the young woman's mother came home. She had just come home from a government meeting, so we assumed she was somehow connected with government officials or was one, and she's wearing some of her dress clothes. Here's another view of the farm and the brother working. And here are some of the animals. Well, that was the end of our visit to this African family's home. And on our way back, we caught a surprise. We were held up in traffic with lots of emergency vehicles going by. And we ended up finding out later that the president of Zimbabwe was passing. And so all traffic was held up until the agents of the president made sure he safely crossed to his destination. Well, that was the end of our afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us, and we hope you will continue with us next time. Please subscribe. Take care.